Both the starting years of the Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon era had one thing in common. They were not very good. I think both Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon didn't really have their Pokemon sets figured out in the first year, with 2020 being, in my opinion, still a lot worse than 2017. At least 2017 had, a set like Shining Legends, but they were both still not very good. I do believe that 2021, which was the second year of Sword and Shield, was a lot better than 2018 was versus 2017. The one thing that they figured out is that the full art trainers were definitely the cards that people wanted to see the most, and they improved upon those a lot. But in the middle of 2018, I think around the time where I think a lot of collectors, they were enjoying the new sets that came out with the full art trainers, but I think there was something big that was missing. Right after the release of Celestial Storm, they announced tag team cards. Tag team cards are, pretty much the card that has two or more Pokemon combined on them, tag team, both in terms of artworks and in terms of playability, and that turned out to be a very good idea. It started in 2019, obviously, with Team Up, which is the first set, and obviously it ended with Cosmic Eclipse at the end of 2019, and it was never seen again. Like 2020 just completely dropped it, and at one point I do understand why they did it, and at the other point I really wanted to see more cards. Right now you're looking at my closet and my hands, but obviously in a very short time you're going to look at 6 of the best value tag team cards that you can find right now. I do really want to say that there's one set that is absolutely not mentioned right now, which is Team Up. I feel personally like Team Up is getting exploited right now. Pokemon is still at a very high point, and I think with Scarlet and Violet, it is going to go down at one point. And like this Latias and Latios card shouldn't be a $750 raw card. I just don't believe Team Up is a very good set, or at least has tag team cards that are very good for both collecting and investing, which is always going to be the topic with stuff like this. In both cases, it's going to be good, or at least the cards I'm going to show you are. I'm going to start with a card that I have already talked about in a video before. I already made a video on 6 cards under 25 euros that are going to be, a very good deal. That sounds like something that is interesting to you. That's, probably is. And this card was one of the cards that I showed you. And even to this day, I am very shocked that this card is as cheap as it's going to get. This, matter of fact, is the cheapest card I'm going to show you. I paid around $5.50 for it. It is from Unified Minds. It shows, 2 of the Pokemon that are obviously being mentioned on this card, very, very heavily on this card. Also, just want to mention that the hollowing layer on like the tag team cards on pretty much all of them is just fantastic, and this one is really no different. It's a very interesting combination, but if you look at it, it's a combination that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, I don't really talk about playability on this channel, but if I would do, this would be one of the cards that I would mention. Like even looking at the HB and looking at the move, the Altered Creation GX move that this card has, this was one of the most broken cards in terms of playability. If you don't know, tag team cards were fun for collecting, are fun for investing nowadays, but was very bad in terms of playability, because there were just a couple cards that were so good that most people just revolved their decks around those cards, and this was one of the better ones. This is the Arceus Dialga Palkia GX from I think that's Cosmic Eclipse. Yes, it is. I do have to admit that in terms of artwork, it is a pretty standard card. I don't think they show either one of these 3 fantastically on this card. I do have to admit that. I paid, I want to say, almost €7 for this card. This is definitely a very good card just because it has the amount of Pokemon on it. I am still convinced that Cosmic Eclipse is the best tag team set. But this is not one of the best cards of this set, but I still think it's a good deal. Like $7 is still one of the cheaper ones out of this entire list. So that's obviously very nice. This is that card that had that statue special art where all 3 of the Pokemon are like engraved into a statue or something, which is one of the most expensive cards again. Like it's just so surprising to see that if like the standard Latias and Latios art is like $30 to $40, but honestly I wouldn't even say that is a very good card. But there are other cards that are like half the price of that card, and then you have these cards that are like 1/3 or 1/4 of the price of the standard Latias and Latios art. Technically, this is not a full tag team set. My favorite set of 2019 is Hidden Fates. It it's one of the best sets ever made in my opinion. But yeah, it did still have tag team cards, or at least the only tag team card I think is in this set is this Moltres Zapdos Articuno, the standard art. I think there's a special art in this set, but I can at least remember the Rainbow Rare, and obviously that beautiful Stone Glass promo card from the Elite Trainer box of Hidden Fates. This is the regular arts. I was very surprised to see the price of this card. It's like 788, I think it was. It was either that card or a different card that was 788. But this card is under €8, which I'm very very surprised by. Just like the spiraling of the entire card, like having them in some sort of circle. You feel like one Pokemon gets more attention than the rest, but then you realize that it's just not true. Like every single one of them is just portrayed fantastically on this card. And this is one of those cards where the fact you have to put 3 different birds in a card like this is obviously not easy. This is what you also could have done with the Arceus Palkia, obviously, but I'm still very very happy with how it's done. Next up, you are looking at the Mega Sableye and Tyranitar GX card from, again, Unified Minds. Unified Minds actually do have a couple of really really interesting cards. I absolutely love this card. Like a topic that a lot of people are talking about in the tag team space is the dark like type cards that you have with like Mimikyu and Gengar. This is one of the best looking ones in that category. It's tough to show you, but you can see what Mega Sableye is holding here. You can see that this is Tyranitar's head, and this is Mega Sableye's head. Which is, it's details like those that just make cards like this worth it. I didn't buy this one at first because I thought it was going to be so expensive, but this card, I think, is under €9, which is very very nice. And I'm actually of the opinion that the special art is not much better, in my opinion. I think this is very very close to the special art. With a video like this, you're gonna have a card that is going to be inevitably more expensive than the rest of them. It's going to be, this is easily the most expensive one that I bought, but this is probably my favorite, even in terms of artwork. This is the Reshiram and Charizard from Unbroken Mounts, the regular art ones, obviously. Yeah, this card was, I'm not proud of the price I paid for this card. I think it was €13.95, which still is not terrible. That's how expensive a pack of Unbroken Mounts is going to be. So I'm not too mad about that, but yeah, obviously it's a lot more expensive than the other cards. Charizard also has a card with breaks in. I think in Cosmic Eclipse, I think this one looks infinitely better. This is one of those cards that, Charizard is going to be on it. It's going to have the attention, but I feel like it's inevitable that this card, even if the hype dies down a little bit, that this card is going to at least keep its price. But even in terms of artwork, I really wanted to have this card, and this is again one of those cases where I thought it was just going to be like 25 to 30 bucks just because I saw the prices of Team Up first, I guess. But yeah, $13.95 is not even the worst price, honestly. You didn't think I was not going to end with this one, right? Yeah, this is obviously one that deserves a lot more explanation than the rest. I just love it. It's such a goofy looking card. Like if you just look at the Raichu here on the left, the regular Raichu, it's just an incredibly goofy card. Yeah, the last card is gonna be goddamn Raichu and Alolan Raichu from Unified Minds. Again, I have so many Unified Minds picks in here. The special art, I think, is like top 5 most expensive card in this set, and the special art is obviously gonna be a lot better than this one. But the Raichu and Alolan Raichu, it just makes sense if you look at them together. It's just such a fun card. Like they look like they're having a lot of fun together, which they obviously have. The yellow with Raichu goes very well with the yellow on the card as well. But obviously the Pokemon that are on it is obviously going to be the biggest factor to get this card. Raichu is obviously incredibly popular, so this card is just going to be, a very good pick to have in your binder. I can't exactly remember what I paid for it. I think it was under €9 still. My last video was a review on the newest set, Obsidian Flames. It has fantastic numbers, but it isn't viewed very well. But if that sounds like something that is interesting to you, I guess it actually will be interesting to you. So obviously I would really appreciate you checking the video out after this one. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.